It was a normal day at the airport, the kind of day where hundreds of people passed through without a second thought. Families with kids tugged at their parents' hands, business travelers checked their phones, and tourists eagerly looked at maps, all blending into the constant flow of life. The hum of announcements overhead mixed with rolling suitcases and hurried footsteps, creating a familiar background noise that seemed to soothe the restless. Customs officers moved steadily through. Their routines, scanning passports, asking questions, and glancing over luggage. Everything felt ordinary. No one expected anything to go wrong here. This was just another checkpoint on the way to distant places or back home. Yet, underneath that surface of normalcy, tension simmered. Airports were places of security and vigilance, where even the smallest detail mattered. No one noticed a woman in a wheelchair approaching the customs line, silent and calm among the crowd. But the most important presence was the customs dog, Ranger, whose sharp nose and instincts would soon change everything on this routine day. The woman moved slowly, but there was a strength in her calmness. Wrapped in a soft jacket, she sat in her wheelchair, wheels turning gently as she rolled closer to the customs officers. Her eyes were steady, focused forward, but her face held a quiet sadness that didn't go unnoticed by Ranger. Most people barely gave her a glance, lost in their own worlds. But Ranger's ears perked up. He could sense something unusual about her, not just the scent she carried, but the way she carried herself. There was a stillness that didn't belong in the busy terminal. "Ma'am, please have your documents ready," an officer said kindly, unaware of the tension building nearby. The woman nodded, lifting her hands from her lap, her fingers brushing a small, hidden object tucked beside her. Ranger's gaze locked onto the footrest of her wheelchair, his body tense. No one else could tell what he was sensing, but for Ranger, every smell told a story. Suddenly, the peaceful calm was broken, and all eyes began to focus on the silent figure in the wheelchair, setting the stage for something unexpected. Ranger was no ordinary dog. Years of training had made him one of the airport's most trusted protectors. He could sniff out danger faster than any machine. Officer Lewis, his handler, trusted him with his life, and the team depended on Ranger's keen senses every single day. Today, Ranger was alert and focused. His sharp nose twitched as he moved through the crowd, his eyes scanning for anything unusual. The bond between Ranger and Lewis was clear. They worked in perfect harmony, a silent understanding passing between them without words. "Good boy, Ranger," Lewis said softly, patting his head. Ranger wagged his tail but stayed serious. Knowing his job wasn't playtime, Ranger had saved lives before, catching threats hidden in luggage or on passengers. But nothing had prepared them for what he was about to face next. His instincts told him something was off, and that something was closer than anyone thought. As the woman in the wheelchair approached, Ranger's behavior suddenly changed. It was a moment that would shock everyone around him and change the course of this day. Without warning, Ranger stopped dead in his tracks. His body went rigid, eyes fixed on the woman's footrest, like he was guarding a secret only he could see. A low growl rumbled from deep in his throat, a warning that startled everyone. Nearby, Officer Lewis tugged lightly on Ranger's leash. "Ranger, what is it, boy?" he asked, voice calm but firm. But Ranger wouldn't move. His growl grew louder, signaling danger. Other officers turned toward them, sensing something unusual. The bustling crowd slowed, curiosity and tension spreading. "Quickly, does he see something?" one officer whispered. The woman looked down at Ranger, surprised by the dog's reaction. "Is there a problem?" she asked softly, her voice steady but concerned. "No problem, ma'am. Ranger's just doing his job," Lewis replied, though inside he was already alert. Carefully, the officers lifted the footrest. Hidden beneath was an object that changed everything. An object that told a story no one expected. Ranger's freeze had saved the day, but it also opened a door to mysteries that would unfold piece by piece. The airport was no longer just a place of routine. It was a place where secrets waited to be uncovered. Officer Malik wasn't just Ranger's handler. He was his best friend. Their bond had grown through years of training and countless hours working side by side. Malik remembered the first day he met Ranger, a nervous puppy with sharp eyes and an even sharper nose. "Ready for this, boy?" Malik had said, kneeling down and offering his hand. Ranger licked it gently, already sensing the journey ahead. Over time, they became inseparable. Ranger saved Malik during a dangerous incident in a dark alley, and Malik never forgot the dog's bravery. They shared quiet moments too, long walks, rests after shifts, and small comforts when the world felt heavy. "Ranger, you're more than a partner to me," Malik would say softly after a tough day, scratching behind his ears. That trust was the foundation of their work. Malik knew Ranger's instincts were unmatched. When Ranger froze in the airport, Malik's heart skipped a beat. He trusted the dog's warning completely. Whatever was happening, Ranger wasn't barking for nothing. Their story wasn't just about work. It was about loyalty, love, and survival. Ranger's reputation wasn't just talk. He had been part of some of the biggest busts the customs team had ever seen. From hidden drugs cleverly disguised in luggage to rare illegal animals smuggled across borders, Ranger's nose had uncovered it all. Once, Malik recalled, they stopped a ring smuggling endangered birds. Ranger's alert had saved dozens of lives, both human and animal. Another time, he found a hidden compartment filled with weapons, alerting officers just in time. Ranger's instincts are like no other, Malik told a new recruit once. When he freezes like that, you listen. It's never just a coincidence. That's why, when Ranger stopped so suddenly at the woman's wheelchair, everyone knew something serious was happening. The dog wasn't just reacting to a scent. He was reading. Danger, sensing secrets hidden in plain sight. This freeze wasn't just an act, it was a warning. And everyone at customs felt the weight of it. The moment Ranger froze, everything shifted. The bustling terminal, full of travelers rushing to their gates, suddenly felt tense. Officer Malik gave the signal. "Lock it down." Within seconds, barriers snapped into place and officers swarmed the area around the woman's wheelchair. "Clear this zone. Keep everyone back," Malik commanded firmly. People started murmuring, confusion spreading like wildfire. The airport security system kicked in fully, no one in or out without clearance. Cameras zoomed in on the woman, now the center of everyone's attention. Ranger stood alert beside Malik, muscles tense, eyes locked on the woman's footrest. His growl deepened. Malik whispered, "Stay with me, boy. Let's find out what you're hiding." The officers moved quickly but carefully, respecting the danger but needing answers. The usual hum of chatter was replaced by a heavy silence. Passengers watched, some holding their breath, others pulling out phones to record the moment. Malik's heart pounded, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility. This could be nothing, or it could change everything. Malik approached the woman cautiously. She looked calm, almost too calm, like a machine running on autopilot. "Ma'am, can you tell us what you're carrying under your wheelchair?" Malik asked, voice steady but serious. The woman blinked slowly, voice flat and calm. "I don't understand. I'm just passing through. There's nothing wrong." Her tone was robotic, eyes unreadable. Malik frowned, sensing something off. "Do you know why the dog reacted that way?" "No," she said softly. "I don't. I'm confused, just like you." Officers exchanged uneasy glances. Her calmness didn't add up. Malik's gut told him she was hiding something, but the silence between them was heavy, almost suffocating. "Please, cooperate," Malik urged. "We need to be sure everyone is safe." She nodded slowly, but the tension in the air was thicker than ever. Officers circled the woman's wheelchair like cautious predators. Malik's eyes never left Ranger, who was fixated on the footrest. His silent warning clear. "Check the screws," Malik ordered. "Look for compartments or hidden devices." The team worked methodically. Slowly, they unscrewed the footrest, revealing a hollow space inside. Malik's breath caught. "There's wiring here," one officer whispered. Malik's voice was sharp. Could it be a bomb? Or something else? Every second stretched. The woman watched silently, face unreadable. Ranger's growl grew louder, almost warning them to hurry. Inside the compartment, they found a small, wrapped bundle, too heavy to be harmless. Malik carefully unwrapped it, revealing an unexpected secret that would change everything. The officers worked quickly, but carefully, their hands steady despite the rising tension. As they removed the last screws, a hidden panel slid open, revealing a small, sealed compartment inside the footrest. Malik's eyes narrowed. This wasn't just a wheelchair. Someone went to great lengths to hide something here. The woman remained eerily calm, watching silently as the officers pulled out the compartment. It was heavier than expected, sealed tight, almost like a vault. "Any guesses on what's inside?" Malik asked, trying to keep his voice steady. One officer shook his head. "Doesn't look like anything common." Ranger stayed close, alert. But still, his growl had softened, but his eyes didn't lose focus. Malik whispered, "Good boy. Let's see what you found." Malik carefully pried open the compartment, revealing tightly packed vials inside. The sterile smell hit the officers immediately, and their faces tightened with alarm. One of the officers called in urgently, "We've got liquid fentanyl here." "Highly lethal." A hush fell over the group. Fentanyl, a substance so powerful and dangerous it could kill within minutes. Malik's heart pounded. This isn't just smuggling. This is a serious threat to everyone here. "Everyone back," a hazmat team member ordered, stepping forward with protective gear. "We need to contain this immediately." The terminal's atmosphere changed instantly. What had started as a routine security check had turned into a life-threatening emergency. Passengers were moved away, faces pale, whispers turning into fearful gasps. Malik looked down at Ranger, whose sharp instincts had uncovered the deadly secret. "Mission almost done, buddy," Malik said softly. The hazmat team took control, sealing off the area with thick plastic barriers. Officers and staff moved back. Tension thick in the air. The woman in the wheelchair sat silently, her calm demeanor unchanged, but her eyes now betraying a flicker of fear. Ranger sat perfectly still beside Malik, ears alert but body relaxed for the first time. It was clear the dog's work was done, but Malik knew this was just the beginning. "This changes everything," Malik muttered, watching as the dangerous substance was carefully removed. The quiet of the terminal was shattered by the seriousness of the moment. No one could ignore the danger now, and no one could predict what would come next. Elena Volkova's name came up clean in the system. No criminal record, no past arrests. On paper, she looked like an ordinary traveler, but Malik's gut told him otherwise. The officers started digging deeper. "Her travel history is odd," Malik said, scrolling through the files. "Look at this. Multiple trips to countries known for cartel activity, and she always flies under different names." The lead investigator frowned. "She's been under the radar for years, using the wheelchair and disability as a perfect cover." Elena sat quietly, eyes locked on the floor. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, voice calm but tense. Malik glanced at Ranger, who watched Elena with sharp eyes. "She's hiding something. But what?" The search didn't stop with the fentanyl. Inside Elena's bag, officers found flash drives, encrypted phones, and photographs. The images showed people, some looking scared, others clearly trapped. "This isn't just drug smuggling," Malik whispered, the weight of the discovery sinking in. "Human trafficking, maybe? And look at these files. Proof of corruption. Within airport security." An officer shook his head in disbelief. "They're using people like Elena as pawns, moving goods and information through unsuspecting travelers." Elena finally spoke, voice breaking. "I was forced. They threatened. My family." Malik's heart tightened. "We need to get to the bottom of this before more lives are ruined." Every lead pointed to a powerful cartel, operating with ruthless precision. Disabled passengers were their perfect cover. No one suspected them. Malik studied the files. "This network spans continents. They've been using people like Elena for years." Elena's face was pale but determined. "This wasn't my first mission, but I wanted out." "Why now?" Malik asked. She hesitated. "Because it's getting worse. And this time, they didn't plan on me making it." Ranger growled softly. Sensing the danger still lurking beneath the calm, Malik tightened his grip on Elena's arm. "We'll stop them. You're not alone anymore." The interrogation room was cold and silent, except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. Elena sat across from Malik, her eyes distant at first, like she was somewhere far away. Hours had passed, and the questions kept coming, but the calm mask she wore all day began to crack. Malik's voice softened. "Elena, we need the truth. Why were you carrying the fentanyl? Who forced you?" She clenched her fists tightly, tears finally pooling in her eyes. I didn't want to do it," she whispered. "I was scared." Another officer leaned in. "Scared of who?" Alina's hands trembled. The cartel. They took my son. I had no choice. Her voice cracked as she admitted the truth. They said if I didn't bring the drugs, they would kill him. Malik exchanged a glance with Ranger, who sat quietly, ears perked, as if understanding every word. Alina's confession hung heavy in the room. She told how her son had been taken from her, hidden somewhere she didn't know. They called me, made me promise to do their dirty work. They said I was the only one who could save him, she said, voice breaking. Her calm had vanished completely, replaced by raw fear and pain. I carried the drugs because I was desperate. I thought, maybe if I did what they asked, my son would come back. Malik's expression was serious. Why the wheelchair, Alina? Was it part of their plan? She nodded weakly. Yes. They said no one would suspect a disabled woman. I was just a shadow to them, a perfect cover. Tears ran down her cheeks. I wanted to protect him, but I was trapped. I didn't know how to escape. Alina's voice softened, almost a whisper. I didn't care about my own life. If they wanted me to die, I would have accepted it. All I wanted was my son. Malik's heart ached hearing her words. You almost gave up everything for him. She looked up, her eyes filled with hope and fear. I planned to sacrifice myself if it meant saving him. I thought, if I didn't survive, maybe my son would. Ranger's quiet whine broke the D. Silence. Malik reached down, stroking the dog's head. You're not alone anymore, Alina. We're going to find your son and stop these people. Alina managed a shaky nod, her spirit fragile but not broken. The truth revealed was more than just a smuggling case. It was a mother's desperate fight to save her child. And now the real mission was just beginning. After hours of tense silence, something unexpected happened. Ranger, the fierce customs dog who had frozen at the footrest earlier, suddenly moved closer to Alina. Instead of growling or staying alert, he gently nudged her hand with his nose. The officers watching the scene froze in surprise. Malik whispered, Did you see that? He's trusting her. Ranger's eyes were soft, almost understanding. The same dog who had warned them of danger now showed a quiet kindness toward Alina. It was as if he sensed the truth beneath her fear and pain. One officer asked quietly, Is this normal for him, to show this kind of affection? Malik shook his head slowly. No, Ranger only trusts those he knows are good. This is a sign. She's not the enemy. Alina looked at Ranger, tears filling her eyes. She reached out hesitantly, and Ranger pressed his head against her palm. For a moment, the room felt lighter. The walls closing in had softened. The mood in the room shifted. What was once a criminal case now felt like something deeper, a mother's desperate act to save her child. Malik spoke to the other officers, voice low but firm. We have to see her as more than just a smuggler. She's been forced into this. We owe it to her, and to her son, to do everything we can. Alina's confession, combined with Ranger's unexpected reaction, made it impossible to ignore the human side of the story. One officer murmured, I never thought I'd feel sorry for someone caught with fentanyl, but now it's different. Malik nodded. This changes everything. We're not just stopping drugs. We're helping a family. Ranger sat back, alert but calm, as if ready to protect Alina now, not as a suspect, but as someone who needed help. In that moment, the line between suspect and victim blurred. The officers understood that sometimes the hardest battles are fought in silence, with nothing but hope to hold on to. Alina's information was more than just a confession. It was the key that unlocked a massive smuggling network. Interpol quickly got involved, coordinating raids in 3 different countries. Officers from around the world shared intelligence, acting fast to dismantle the cartel that had used innocent people like Alina as pawns. Malik said over the phone, This is bigger than we thought. We're hitting their operations hard. The news spread quickly, giving hope to many who had been silenced by fear. Meanwhile, the search for Alina's son became urgent. Authorities traced him to a hidden location where he had been held captive for months. When they finally found him, the boy was weak, scared, and confused, but alive. Alina was allowed to see him through a glass panel. Her voice trembled as she whispered, I'm coming for you, baby. Hold on. Officers watching couldn't hold back their tears. Malik said softly, This is why we do this. Not just to catch criminals, but to save lives. Though the reunion was behind glass, the love between mother and son was clear, powerful enough to break through any barrier. Elena's cooperation earned her a chance at redemption. The courts agreed to reduce her sentence, understanding the impossible choice she had faced. She agreed to work with organizations that help victims of trafficking, determined to stop others from falling into the same trap. In a quiet moment, Elena told Malik, "I was scared and lost, but now I want to fight back. For my son, and for every mother out there." Malik smiled. "You've already done more than most could. This is just the beginning." Ranger, ever watchful, sat nearby, a silent reminder that sometimes even the darkest paths can lead to light. The fight was far from over, but with courage and hope, a new chapter had begun for Elena and many others. Ranger's actions that day didn't just save a life, they changed everything. The customs dog was honored with a national award for bravery and exceptional service. At the ceremony, officials praised his sharp instincts and calm courage under pressure. "Ranger's pause saved us from disaster," one officer said. His refusal to move was the difference between life and death. For Ranger, it was never about the praise. He sat quietly, tail wagging softly, his eyes reflecting the bond he shared with Malik and the countless lives he'd helped protect. The spotlight was on him, but Ranger's focus stayed on his handler, ready for whatever came next. Malik, standing beside Ranger, shared his thoughts with reporters and colleagues alike. "This case wasn't just about catching a criminal," he said quietly. "It was about seeing the pain behind the crime, the desperation no one wanted to face." He paused, looking down at Ranger. "People like Elena don't choose this path willingly. Justice has to be fair but also compassionate." Malik's words carried the weight of years on the force. He had seen tough cases before, but this one lingered in his mind. It reminded him that every suspect is a story, and sometimes a cry for help. The ripple effects of the case reached far beyond the courtroom. Customs and police training programs were updated to include Ranger's pause instinct, that rare moment when a detection dog freezes, signaling something deeply wrong. Trainers studied how Ranger's behavior saved the day and worked to teach other dogs the same patience and awareness. Malik said during a training seminar, "Sometimes the best thing a dog can do is stop, not charge forward. This changes how we train our teams." Ranger's legacy grew, his calm and courage rewriting rules and saving lives for years to come. The world saw not just a hero dog, but a new way to protect the innocent, uncover hidden truths, and offer hope where there seemed none. This was never just about catching drugs at the airport. What Ranger found was much deeper, a story of pain, sacrifice, and a mother's desperate love. Elena wasn't simply a smuggler. She was a woman forced into impossible choices, carrying a burden heavier than anyone could see. Ranger's instincts saved more than just the day. They saved a boy's life and uncovered a dark secret hidden beneath layers of fear and silence. Sometimes, the smallest pause can reveal the biggest truth. The officers learned something vital that day. Justice isn't just about punishment. It's about understanding the stories behind the crime and finding ways to help those trapped in darkness. For Ranger, his calm refusal to move wasn't just training, it was pure heart. It showed that even a dog knows when something is wrong, even when people don't. You never really know what someone is carrying, not just in their bag, but deep inside their heart. Sometimes the weight is invisible, and sometimes only a dog can see what we can't. Ranger's story reminds us to look beyond the surface, to have compassion even in the hardest moments, and to trust the quiet instincts that guide us. Because, in the end, love, courage, and hope come in many forms. This isn't just a tale about law enforcement or crime. It's a story about humanity, about the bonds we share and the lives that hang in the balance. So next time you see a pause, a hesitation, or a quiet moment, remember Ranger. Sometimes that's all it takes to change everything. What do you think? Can dogs really sense human emotions and fear? Ranger's story makes you wonder if animals see what we sometimes miss. Have you ever experienced a moment when a dog seemed to understand something deeper? And what about the officers? Would you have stayed calm like them? Or reacted differently under so much pressure? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your stories, feelings, and opinions about this incredible bond between humans and animals. If this story moved you, please like this video. It helps us bring more real, emotional stories to light. Sharing this video could help raise awareness about hidden trafficking tactics and the brave people and dogs who fight against them every day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss a story that touches the heart and opens the mind. Together, we can spread hope, kindness, and understanding, one story at a time. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes a dog's instinct is the greatest gift we have.